Good evening, astrolifers, and to start with, happy Mother's Day to all the moms. I hope you had an awesome day and that you really enjoyed it. The stars were good, so that's a good thing. And yes, I've got a good surprise, is that when I did the stars of the week, when I checked them out again today, I looked and in fact, it's starting to be oppositions and retrogrades will start from the 12th, but not from the 11th. So we still have tomorrow. That is a really nice day. And that was a nice surprise because it's different when you look at it. It depends where you look at it when you do the stars, because obviously there is 1 day differences with Europe. So it depends where I look at when I do my calculation. And so the 10th is great for Europe. The 11th is great for us as well, because they've got a time difference. But yes, on the 12th, we will have an opposition. So let me explain what's going on. So today and tomorrow, by the way, we've got Mercury, that famous planet of thinking and idea, that is actually in trine with Jupiter, which actually helps for creativity, to create, to be doing new projects, to write, to launch, anything like that. It's actually an awesome aspect because you can find better to start a business or to do something than having that aspect, right? It's all about Mercury, it's all about action and communication and ideas and contracts and sharing, communicating is just the best. And with Jupiter, the planet of expansion and luck, you cannot find better than that. So that keeps on going tomorrow. So go for it, everyone. It's not good on the 10th, on the other side, 11th, sorry, on the other side, but only on the 12th here. So we still have an extra day, which is fantastic because I've got plenty of things to do too. So it actually really is awesome. We have on the 12th, and so the 11th in Europe, so just to make it clear, we've got a problem because Mercury, that same planet, will actually be square to Mars. So Mars is the planet of action, is the planet of business, is the planet of making it happen and moving forwards. And that is going to be square in opposition with Mercury. So it's not going to be a good aspect. So on that day, I strongly recommend not to sign anything. And in fact, from that day, I strongly recommend not to sign anything. Why? Because after that, we will have on the 13th, Venus retrograde. And Venus is linked, yes, with beauty and love and all this beautiful feminine energy. But as I always say, she also has the purse. So she's also linked with money. So anything that you will do during those aspects will limit, the profits will be limited. So that's not what you want when you are doing something in business. And you don't want to be obviously starting a new hairdo, a new style. You don't want to do any renovation. You don't want to be starting a relationship as well either, especially not a romantic one. It wouldn't work, unfortunately. It would just create problems more than anything else. But that's also a time you don't want to divorce, right? A lot of people, when Venus is retrograde, they contact me and they say, oh my gosh, what am I doing married to that man or to that woman? Well, that's because of Venus retrograde. So no divorces during that time. You're not necessarily objective. And everyone feels the same, it's like things are just less pretty, and that can be general. So yes, so you definitely don't want to be doing anything like that. And you definitely don't want to be working in things that have a very strong feminine energy. It's usually the time where especially those kind of things won't work. So yeah, any kind of change that you want to do, especially for women, a change of style, or even let's say you had your nails done, you're probably not going to like them the same way. If you keep on doing what you have done before, just keep on going. You still might not be as happy as usual, but at least it won't be something that you absolutely detest or that you really don't like, that you really hate. So just stick to what you know. If you've got to do your regrowth and stuff like that, no problems, but definitely not a new style. You probably won't like it at all. So that's something I would avoid. And actually Jupiter, I'm just looking, and Jupiter will be retrograde until until June the 18th. So yeah, so that's going to be a few weeks where you want to avoid. And then there will be, well, during that time there will be Mercury retrograde. So really technically that takes us to the 13th of July. But during that time we will still have Jupiter retrograde, which is my next announcement today. On the 14th and 15th, depending of where you are at, just making it clear today, Jupiter will go retrograde in Capricorn. So at least there's something good about that, is that yes, that is going to slow down the virus, that is going to slow down all those problems, because all that was created with that aspect of Jupiter and Capricorn. So that is the only good news I can give you really technically there, but that's a good one, right? Where all that thing with the virus is actually going to slow down. And I will say until the end of June, around the 30th of June, because there, again, Pluto and Jupiter, which have been linked with that virus and the same aspect that we had in 1918 with the Spanish influenza, have been linked with that disease, have been linked with that virus. So we will have some news there, with that aspect, and we will have some around the mid-November, the 12th, 13th November. So we'll see what happens there. But it will be linked with the disease and what we have gone through. So it will bounce back. It's like a little bit of a rock, when you go onto the water and it bounces back. It's a little bit like that with the stars. When you've got aspects like that, when they meet during the year, they actually come back and call back each other onto the same subject. So that's probably the best way I can explain it. Yes, so we will have Jupiter retrograde, and Jupiter will be in retrograde in Capricorn until the 12th, 13th here, and the 12th in Europe. So yeah, that definitely will slow things down, but also it will slow, obviously, the expansion, going towards outside and wanting to launch and having things that grow, because at the end of the day, Jupiter is the planet of growth, luck, and expansion. So if it does go retrograde, obviously your projects won't go where you want them to go. So it's really, really crucial that you all launch them today. If you still have time, or tomorrow, that's good that we have an extra day, because we've been working a lot with my elites and myself, doing as much as we could, but at least it's a great thing that we've got a little bit more time tomorrow. So if you want to sign something, it's actually, honestly, and that's what I really adore about the universe, is that it is so well organized. You cannot get better than Mercury and Jupiter to do business. Like, it's just not possible. And that's the aspect that we are having, today and tomorrow, that we've been having, and it's been coming crescendo the last 2 or 3 days. So you cannot find better than that. It's just giving us that best aspect before the retrograde. So how good is that, So it's absolutely magical. I love the way the universe is always well organized in that sense. And yes, and the Sun and Jupiter will be there on the 17th. So we'll have a really nice day, even though we'll be in retrograde, we'll have a very nice day on the 17th. So that's good, because again, see how well organized it is, because the strongest day where we feel the most the retrogrades are the beginning and at the end. Why? Because the planets, when they do slow down and go into retrograde, it's like a big ship, stopping on some water, and you've got all that murky water coming up. So we actually are more affected the first day of the retrogrades. So that means that by the time it has settled in, so it starts on the 13, 14, and by the time it settles in on the 17, we've had that awesome aspect where the Sun and Jupiter will be together. So it will be an awesome day to actually be able to treat yourself, to really feel good and to enjoy that day. So even though we'll be in those retrograde, it will be really a day where you can look after yourself and your loved ones and really, really have a good time. So it will just be saying, right, we are in retrograde now, let's start looking after ourselves, but let's do it with a big bang. Because again, Jupiter is the biggest planet, so it's going to be one of the best aspects, and the Sun is the self, right? So even though it's retrograde, and that's what we should be doing in retrograde, is to expand from within. So it's going to be saying, right, now we have gone that, retrograde and stuff, the big movement thing has gone, and now it's time to look after yourself. And it's going to be like a day, I know it's a Monday, but a lot of people are probably going to want to take it off if they can. If you do work the way the new world is starting to be, working online and living the life that you want with technology, because we are definitely going to be going more and more into the era of Aquarius, especially with Jupiter that is coming on the 21st, 22nd of December. So the biggest aspect in that era with that planet is going to show us the way, which is the transformation we're having now, to letting go the old ways to actually be going to the new ways, okay? So the quicker you let go, the quicker you understand that you should have that sense of freedom, being able to work online and traveling and expanding, especially when they will be opening the doors, and that it is, anyway, expanding the way you are physically traveling and all that, but it's also expanding, connecting with the rest of the world. And you can only do it through internet anyway, because otherwise physically you're always limited to where you are, right? So it's going to open the door with technology to the whole world and communication, and obviously finding the right balance, because that's what it's all about, temperance and balance in this new world. So that also brings me to another subject actually tonight. We are going to become more and more psychic. So it's already started when we had Jupiter in 2000 hang on, I've got to get it right. It's in Capricorn, so last year, the year before, right? So in 2017, you will start seeing more and more things and feeling more things and being more awakened to all those things that we don't see necessarily, like, the dreams, astrology, quantum physics, having signs and all these kind of things. It's normal. It's going to go crescendo. We're actually lifting into a fifth dimension. So the more you are going to do meditation, I did share one last time, but the more you are going to help yourself to elevate, to be part of it all, and to understand what's going on and where towards what we are going, the easier, the better it will be. Understanding that we are made of energy, and that we are in a world made of energy, and that the nicer, the smoother, the more love, the more understanding there is around us in that energy, the better it is. So obviously there's going to be a reaction compared to what we are living and towards where we are going to go. There's going to be a big difference compared to what we are living now. That's for sure. We're going to go, imagine like Capricorn, Saturn and all that in Capricorn, or even, the way we had Jupiter as well, that we have Jupiter as well in it. It's almost like the ancient world, where you've got a foundation and everything is well structured and it should be being done this way or that way. And when it is going to be in Aquarius, it's going to be like doing things right and things for human rights and doing things the way it should be done, as a humanitarian as well, and all that. So imagine how it's going to be shifting. And that's what we're starting to feel. Oh, well, we should look after our planet better. We should be understanding our real values, what is right, what is wrong, the way we want to stay free and all that. All those questions that you are asking yourself are actually normal towards where we are going. So it's kind of part of the plan, if we can say so, because obviously the world needed to change. And the bad stuff, we won't want it. So there's going to be a big shift in that sense. So that's it. Look, think about all that. It's the right time. The stars are awesome and Jupiter is well aspected. So ask yourself all those questions towards where you want to go, what kind of life you would love to live. And remember, if you do want to live that life, it is possible. We are doing it with my elites and all that. So it is completely doable. You just need to be working on purpose, finding your right spot into this earth and making it happen. And it is a possibility, definitely a possibility, and definitely towards where we are going into that new world anyway. So it will make things easier for you, and also understanding that we are part of it all. So that's going to be awesome. So when we have those retrogrades, Jupiter and Venus, please be kind to each other, because love is the most important thing in that sense, and definitely towards where we are going for next year. So at the end of this year, the 21st, 22nd. Thank you for listening. Have an awesome week, and I'll talk to you very, very soon. On Monday, or Sunday, next Monday, we'll have an awesome aspect. So I will start my stars with awesome aspects. Bye, everyone. Bye.